Good evening, and I would like to welcome my listening audience to Real Convo on this evening. I am your host, Shantrice Robinson, and as always, you have thought about it, but tonight we shall talk about it. And tonight's conversation will be about what's love got to do with it. Many of us say that we love, but do we really love? How do we love the person that we say that we're loving? Is it out of our own capacity to love, or is it out of the way that they need to be loved? So, tonight we're going to have the real conversation about what love got to do with it. Many people equate love to things as affection, sex, material things, and even some equate love to abuse. It may not be the very topic that we want to talk about tonight, but tonight we're going to have the real conversation. So I'm going to start with myself, my own personal journey. My own personal journey was that I once thought that love was equated to buy me roses, buy me material things, hugs, kisses. But then I had to sit back and I had to really, really, really think, is that what love is? Is that what love is about? Or were they really loving me, or were they buying me? See, we have to know the difference between being bought with love and then actually having the feeling of love. Because some people will come into our lives and they will buy us. Then there are other people that will come into our lives and they have a motive or they have an agenda. So we have to be able to decipher what is love truly. The definition of love is showing affection. It's a place of affection, and that's the definition of love, affection. And so if we say that we love one another and that we love each other, then how are we showing this love? Are we exemplifying this love through the things that we say, the things that we do, or are we exemplifying this love through abuse, mentally, physically, verbally? Are we displaying this love through the ability to be sexual with one another? So tonight is the real conversation, and we're going to have the real conversation, and we're going to talk about it tonight. What is love? What is love? And like I said, some people equate love with those type of things. So I want to know tonight. I want you to put it in the chat. I wanted you to put it in the inbox tonight, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to bring up some of your subjects about what is love on tonight. And so I want to touch on all three of these things. And as I said, my personal story is I once thought that love was when someone was buying me things and taking me out to dinner and showing me different places and showing me different things. I thought that was love. But then I come to find out that they didn't really love me. They loved the things that they were able to do for me, but they didn't love me. So they had a motive, they had an agenda. And some people come into our lives with such agendas and such motives. And when they come into our lives with motives, they don't come announcing that they're coming with a motive. They come with a secret agenda, and you have to be able to decipher what is love. Jesus told us, he said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. How would I want to be loved? How do Shantrice wants to be loved? How do you, my listening audience, want to be loved? So I say on tonight, let's have the real conversation about love and what love genuinely and truly is. Love is genuine. Love is kind. Love doesn't hurt. Love doesn't boast. It's not some people sit there and will say, "Well, I bought you this and I'll take it back." That's not love. Then there are those people that are hitting you, are abusing you, and they're telling you, "If I didn't love you, I wouldn't do it." That's not love. I've been in that place. And tonight I just want to shed some light on what is love and what love has to do with it. Love has a lot to do with how we welcome people, our attitudes. Love has a lot to do with how we grow up, how we become as adults, how we are as children. And so, even a child, when they're missing the love and the affection, they're going to display anger, resentment, bitterness. I mean, all type of rebellion, all type of things will come when people feel as though they're not getting the love that they need. Some people cry. They'll sit there and they'll just cry and cry and cry because they're not getting the love and affection that they need in a relationship. Why are you treating me like this? There's arguments that get started because people don't feel like they're being loved. So when you don't feel like you have that genuine love, that love that comes from the heart. See, love comes from the heart. Love is a heart thing. And if you don't have the capacity and the ability to love in your heart, you can't love the next person. It's impossible to love. Even the Bible says, God said, if you have not love, you're none of mine. And so, do we really want God to say, the one who created love, the one who is love, to say to us, you're none of mine because you don't even have the ability to love? Because we lack love, people are promiscuous. So they go out there and they get in these sexual desires and sexual relationships and they equate sex with love. But tonight, let's talk about it. Is it really love? What do you think? What do you feel love genuinely and truly is? Because I know how I want to be loved. Open and close the door for me. Run my bath water. Rub my feet sometimes. Rub my back sometimes. Give me that great massage that I know you can do as a masseuse. I equate that with love. And some people would say, because I didn't have that love, I don't even want anybody touching me. That's the real conversation on tonight. Some will say, don't touch me. Or they'll push back their partner from loving them, from showing them that type of affection because they don't understand and they don't know what love genuinely and truly is. So again, they don't know how to love. And then I want to go back to the ones that have agendas and motives because those are the people that will come into your life and they will be Dr. Jekyll and then they'll be Mr. Hyde. First, they start off just beautiful with you. I mean, you think that, oh my goodness, good Lord, this man genuinely and truly loves me. If love feels and looks like this, give it to me every single day. I don't want to miss this type of love. And they start off so peaceful. They start off so good. They start off so loving, so caring, so kind. And they present all of this to you. And then there's that one day. Yes, that one day that comes, and then Mr. Hyde comes out. Dr. Jekyll comes out. And it's not a pretty scene. He begins to curse you. He begins to belittle you. He begins to call you out your name. He begins to fight you. And you say, I thought you loved me. How could this be love? And then they will say to you in terms, I do love you. And if I didn't love you, I wouldn't do it. I only do it because I love you. I do it because I don't want you to leave me because I love you. That's not love. So what I'm going to say is run, Forrest, run. And run as fast as you can because that's not love. Love is so gentle. Love is so patient. Love is so kind. Love endures all things. Love doesn't cast you out. Love doesn't beat you down. Love doesn't tell you you're nothing. Love doesn't tell you that you're this and you're that. But what love does is it welcomes you. Love embraces you. Love says, love me because I'm loving you. Love me back the way that I'm loving you. And then we have to understand that sometimes our way of loving may not be the way that the person needs to be loved. So some people may come in the house and they may give you a kiss on the cheek, go into the next room and they sit and watch TV all night long, all day long, all evening long. And then you're missing out on that love. You're missing out on that affection. And you say, does he really love me? Does she really love me? Is this all she can give me? Is a kiss on the cheek and then go in the other room and don't talk to me? So love loves to communicate. Love is a communication between two people. Love is not a one-way street. And many of us get in relationships and we embark upon it. And it looks good in the beginning, but toward the middle and the end, we soon find out that that wasn't love. That's not the way that I want to be loved. So there's a love language, and we need to teach people how to actually love us because some people didn't get love, so they don't know what love is. And then there's sex. Yes, tonight we're going to talk about it. And then there's sex. So those who feel like, well, I'm going to sex her to death. I'm going to sex him to death. My sex is going to do it, and my sex is going to get it. And that's how I love them. Is that really love? Sex? I think sex does draw two people close together. I think that sex can be an intimate thing. I truly believe that in my heart. But then if you're doing it just so the next person won't leave you, if you're doing it so the next person won't sex somebody else, are you really loving them? Is that really a passionate place of love? So we have to truly understand what love is and what love has to do with it. See, love has everything to do with a relationship. When two people are in love, it can be a beautiful thing. But when one person is loving and the next person isn't, then it's a disaster because arguments happen, disagreements happen, pushing and shoving happen, words come out that shouldn't be said or displayed. And you wonder, why is this relationship in a turmoil? Even between parents and children, it can be sometimes rocky, you know. And I can even admit, I was one that even bringing up my own child, to be able to display that affection, that love, I was kind of like withdrawn. I felt like I was a provider. I was 18 years old, a young mother, early mother. And so the way that I displayed love wasn't the way that she needed to be loved, but that's the way that I felt I knew how to give love. And I felt like love was, me taking care of her, me providing for her, putting her in the best neighborhoods, putting her in the best schools, make sure she have everything that she needs. But where was the love, Shantrice? Where? Yes, this is the real conversation. And tonight we're going to talk about it. So, even as parents, we have to learn how to love our children. Our children have so much anger and so much bitterness and so much strife and malice because we're not loving them the way that they need to be loved. We're letting video games love them, we're letting other people love them, we're letting things, material things, love them. And guess what? They grow up to be beasts because they lack the love. And so we have to understand what love has to do with it. Love has everything to do with it. When you love a child and you show them that love, then they can only return that love back to you. And even when you get older, because we're going to get older, yes, this is the real conversation. We're going to talk about it. And you want those children to be loving and kind and affectionate towards you. But what were you toward them? How were you? What were your love language to them as a parent? Did you display love? Or did you let everything else love them except for you loving them and being kind to them and being nourishing to them? Tonight, we're going to have the real conversation of what's love got to do with it. And all we need to know is love has everything to do with how we're groomed. It grooms us, it molds us, it shapes us into the people that we shall become and the people that we are. If we have not love, we have nothing. So we're going to take a commercial break right quick, but we're going to come back and talk about what's love got to do with it because it has everything to do with it. So hold on, sit back, relax. I'll come back. Real combo. Welcome back, my listening audience. Tonight we're talking about what's love got to do with it. And I left off by talking about how parents tend to love their children. But tonight I want to talk about, again, the relationship between a man and a woman. and how love can sometimes hurt. Love shouldn't hurt. Love should be a good feeling. Love should be welcoming. Love should be something that's embracing. But when the one that say that they love you in terms treat you any kind of way, I want you to know tonight that is not any type of love that you want. You want the type of love that's going to make you wake up in the morning and you say, I can be with this person for the rest of my life. You want that type of love that even if you're not married, but you're just in a relationship with somebody, you want that type of love that says, you know what, this is a potential person that I can see myself with. And I can see myself not living without this person in my life. But we become so accustomed to everyday life that sometimes we miss the mark on love. And I remember one thing growing up, I always loved to lay on my mother. Yes. All the way up until I was 21 years old, I laid on her. And I had this love language with her. You know, I felt like I had to pat her stomach, I had to shake it up, move it around, and things of that nature. But that was my love language to my mother, to let her know, I love you, girl. I love you, girl. And in terms, my mother allowed me to lay on her because that was her way of showing me, I love you back, girl. I love you back. And so we have to get to the point that we understand what genuine and true love is. And if we don't understand what genuine and true love is, we're going to go throughout life always being hurt in relationships because we're not out there telling people how to love us. So, what does love have to do with it? It has everything to do with it. You can go to work angry because last night you didn't get no love. You didn't get any affection. You didn't get any attention. And then here we go to work. And then let's talk about it. We wonder why people have work wives and work husbands. It's because when they're at home, they're not getting that love and affection that they need to carry them throughout the night and the day. So they go into work and someone else is coming by their desk talking about some, hey, beautiful, how are you today? You're looking beautiful. You're looking marvelous. And then they're in terms answering, thank you, handsome. So guess what that does? It builds a relationship. And that's how it starts. And then we wonder, why does some people commit adultery on the next partner? Why does people commit fornication? Why are people promiscuous? Why are people out here just not loving at all? Because they didn't have the love. They didn't have the affection. They didn't have the attention. So then they don't know how to love you. They don't know how to love anyone. So they're grumpy, they're angry, they're bitter, they're mean. But when you have that love in your life, you know how to love in return. It's like a mother breastfeeding a child. And when they breastfeed, they fall in love with that baby. They grow a bond to the point that some people don't want to stop breastfeeding. That's just how much that bond of love is. But then I want to talk about tonight those that say, I'm in a relationship with a person who's a manipulative person. Do we really think that's love? But people can manipulate you so much to the point that you would think that's love. And manipulation is not love. Manipulation is what it is. And that's a person trying to sway you to do it their way, sway you to be the way that they want you to be, sway you to do things that's just not what you want to do, but what they want you to do. That's not love. Manipulation is not love. And so tonight, I just want to have the real conversation. And I want you all to put it in the chat, put it in the comments so that we can have a real conversation. What do you think about love? How do you want to be loved? What do you equate love with? How do you feel when somebody's loving you back? The song says, if loving you is wrong, I don't want to do right. Tina Turner said it best. What's love got to do with it? Tell me tonight, what does love have to do with it? Put it in the chat, put it in the comments so that we can talk about it on tonight. And yes, we need to know how to love because we don't want to grow up in this world and go around in this world so angry, so bitter. Or even more than that, we hate people because we didn't get love. So we don't want to be around nobody. We don't want to talk to nobody. We don't want to have anything to do with anybody because we missed out on that special component of love. Love is everything, people. This world is full of hatred and evil without love. But love breeds peace. Love breeds joy. Love breeds happiness. Love breeds so many things if we but only love. And so I want you all to show me some love tonight by showing me some comments and writing and saying what you think and feel that love is so that we can have this great conversation on tonight. But I'll go back to abuse because I've been there. I've been there where that I was in a relationship that was full of abuse. And I didn't think that was love. I didn't think it was love. But then I have to be honest with myself. Why did I get in the relationship in the first place when it was never love there? Why did I allow that door to be open? And why did I enter in through that door? Because at first it wasn't abuse. At first it looked like it could be something so great, something so wonderful, something so good. But then I soon found out it wasn't good at all. And the only reason why, again, that the abuse was there was sexual. If I wasn't willing to be intimate, there was the abuse. Yeah, yes, let's talk about it. Real conversation tonight. If I didn't engage in sex, there was the abuse. So I'm just saying tonight, if you are one who wants to talk about love, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Miss Regina said we have no boundaries with our bodies. And that's why. And the word teaches us that love is the way. Yes, it is, Miss Regina. Love is the way. And I've said it so many times throughout this conversation tonight. If you have not love for one another, then you're missing the mark because that's the only way we can draw. That's the only way that we can bring people into our circle of our hearts is to love because we love from our hearts. But then you have some people who have this superficial type of love. This superficial type of love. And Miss Regina, I talked about that. I talked about how people will come into your life, they'll buy you all of these things, they'll make it all look good. But then in the end, you discover that it wasn't love. It was no type of love there. You know, it was temporary, a good feeling because they were buying you things. They were doing things for you. They were saying all the right things to you in the beginning. But then Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde comes out. And then you discover soon, this ain't love. And I don't want this. This is not something that you welcome. This is not something you want. And now you want out, but don't even know how to get out. Let's talk about it. You think that because you're in this relationship and you've been in here for all these years, and this man never loved you, this woman never loved you, wouldn't even come home to you half of the time. What type of love is that? Is that what we really want? Or do we want somebody who's going to be compassionate, somebody who's willing and love to come home to you because you are a prize? You are something to come home to. And they're willing because I love her, because I love him. I'm coming home early and I'm going to do something special for them. That's love. Love shows itself. Love doesn't hide. Love doesn't say, well, if you do this for me, then I'll love you. But if you don't do this, then I don't love you. And it shows that it does not love you at all. And it speaks loud, speaks very loud. So we have to understand that love is an action and it shows. Love is not something that we just say out our mouths. And many people are going along in these relationships and people are just saying things out of their mouths like, oh, I love you. Or they'll say things like this, you know, I love you. If I'm asking you, do you love me? How do I know you love me? I wouldn't be asking if you love me if I knew you loved me. That's the thing. So, how does one ask you or tell you something like that? You don't have to ask me that question. You know I love you. Yes, I do. I have to do a love check. So, some of us need to do a love check. And we need to check and see, is the person that we're loving us back? We need to know on tonight that with certainty that we are loved, because love can carry you a long way. Love can carry you so far. Miss Regina said, I had to search myself. Regina, do you love? You. Love is an inside job. That's right, Miss Regina. It's a heart thing. It's your heart. And sometimes when we don't love ourselves, other people will come along and they'll pick up on that we don't love ourselves. So they don't love us. And they don't know how to love us because we don't know how to love us. So, yes, Marlo, they send their representatives, and their representatives present themselves so well, so perfect, so affectionate, so loving. But in the end, guess what happens? We do nothing but get hurt in the end. We pour out and give of ourselves. And guess what? We get nothing back in return. It's like an empty cup, just voided. Nothing in there, no substance, nothing in there at all. And it hurts. And so then we'll go into the next relationship with baggage because of the previous relationship that didn't show us love. So we carry this baggage along with us, and we carry everything along with us. And yes, it does speak and it does shows. And resentment will come and it resembles one another. Yes. Speaking it and showing it just wasn't resembling one another. I understand, Miss Regina. I have been there where that someone will tell you, I love you, but then their actions don't show a bit of that they love you. It actually shows more like they hate you than they love you. How do you be with me and you hate me, but you say you love me, and your actions show that you truly hate me in the end? I don't understand it. If somebody in the chat can help me understand, why is it that we continue to put ourselves in positions and atmospheres and relationships that mean us no good? And we know there's no love there. We know their heart isn't there, but we stay. We stay. We stay for material things. We stay for comfort. We stay because we don't want to be alone. It's so many things, and it breeds negativity. It doesn't breed nothing positive, but everything negative, and that's what it breeds. And we go along with it, and we accept it for what it is, and it's not love. So tell me, what's love got to do with it? I think that love has a lot to do with it. Love has a lot to do with how we carry ourselves because we love. And when you have love, you can love, and you can love unconditionally. That's the thing right there. Being able to love unconditionally. Some people love on condition. On the condition, if you do this, yeah, I'll love you. But if you don't do that, I can't love you. So it's stipulations. Who puts a stipulation on love? Who does that? And where do they do that at? Can somebody please tell me, where do they do that at? Because I'm trying to understand, when did God say, I'll love you based upon this over here? I never knew God to do that. God said he's love. He said, and the first thing is you're to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. We should love each other like that. We should love each other with everything that we have, showing one another that I truly, truly, truly appreciate you, and letting them know how much you appreciate you. Love is not fake, but it's so many people out here with fake love, and they will stay that way for years, acting like they love you. Because guess what? Sometimes, Marlo, we are a benefit. And when we are a benefit to them, they'll hang on. And you said it best. Prevent us from being lonely. Yep. People get in those type of relationships because they're lonely and they don't want to be alone. But guess what? I would rather in this season of my life be alone, happy, than to be with somebody and be miserable in this time of my life. I just can't do it. If you can't love me, if you don't love me, you don't want to be with me genuinely, let's not even play games with each other. Let's cut this right here and cut the ties and let it go. And that's how I feel. So, is there anybody else out there who wants to have the real conversation on tonight? So, I thank you all tonight for what you all have said and what you all have done to express your way of what's love got to do with it. I am your host, Shantrice Robinson. You can find me here on SKST Productions on YouTube every first and second Thursday of the month. Also, you can find me on Facebook at Treese Robinson. And yes, we can continue our conversations on Facebook Live one day, one evening, one time. So I say unto you today, have a blessed evening and live and love and have a real conversation. And we'll talk about it the next time. Have a good evening.